What are you guys doing in here? It's a little dark to be hanging out in a crypt, although I suppose it's pretty close to Halloween, so this seems kind of appropriate. So I think we should put together like a Minion Master Build, call back to Guild Wars 1, their necromancer build that you could run back in the day. So I think that's what we're going to aim for. But before we get there, I just want to say thank you for everybody who has subscribed and comments and leaves those likes. It means a whole lot to a channel like this where we're pretty chill, relaxed. Obviously, we got some things going on now, a little bit of higher class. I got to figure out the lighting and shit, but I think that's going to be the goal for the end of the year for this channel, is get to that 1K sub mark. I think we can get there. So if you're new here, consider doing the YouTube jazz, and let's talk about the video and how it's going to break down. But let's do it somewhere else. It's kind of dark in here, so come. Yeah, they just leave these mics everywhere that you go into in Baldur's Gate 3 apparently. But yeah, campsite here, little better. Got Scratch in the background there. Gail's reading a book. I got my owlbear here. I call him Chubby. I don't know when I picked him up. I guess I killed his mom, and then I had to stop him from eating his mom. Oh, there he is. And then yeah, he's been on me ever since. Been best friends. So that's quite the story. But so today we're going to make a Minion Master build. How is this going to work out? Well, we're going to go through character creation. We're going to go through Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. In each one of those acts, we're going to break down the important spells and things you should be picking up to kind of really make this build work all together. Now, there's going to be some choices there when you're actually going through leveling that I don't list. Those choices are up to you. I'm just going to list what I think is the most important. So let's go ahead and head on to character creation, and I can sit down and we can get into this. Now here we are in character creation. Something I forgot to mention here, we do fun thematic builds on this channel usually, not so much optimized. I usually just kind of try to give you like the skeleton frame of a build, stuff like equipment, gear you get. Obviously they're going to make these builds even better, but I want this to be able to, you can plug it and play with this no matter where you are in the campaign. So all those gear and stuff, because I don't know what you're picking up or how far along you are. So this should work no matter where you are in the game. And then anything you have should make it better. So back to character creation here. Any race you want, none of these are a must pick here. I would go with Druid for your class. This is the thing we're going to start out with. This is going to be a multi-class, but we're going to start off with Druid here. Cantrip wise, guidance I think would be the must pick here, and then your second one's kind of up to you. I'm just picking resistance. Background, not so important. If you don't want this to be your main character, somebody like Gale or Will are a great choice for this build as well. If you don't want your main person to be kind of like a spellcaster or somebody who kind of sits in the back. Ability wise, we want a little bit of dexterity, a pretty good amount of constitution, and then intelligence and wisdom. So you may be able to dump one of these depending on how you prefer to play or what you find that you're using more spells of. Because these do come into effect. I think wisdom is actually definitely the more important one here. When we get to feats and stuff, when we talk about if we want to use ability improvement, I would definitely maybe favor wisdom a little bit heavier. And you'll see why. It has to do with the subclass for Druid that we're using. That kind of, I think, benefits from our spell modifier, which in this case would be wisdom over intelligence. But we'll talk, I guess, a little bit more about that when we get there. Prepared spell wise, the must pick for me is Longstrider, especially if you don't have a dexterity character like a bard or a ranger. I would go with Longstrider. This is just super helpful for your whole party. It's a ritual spell. It doesn't take up any spell slots. You just got to kind of cast it out of combat. And then another one that I think is a fun pick is Ice Knife. So this build overall is going to be doing a lot of necrotic damage. But if something's resistant or something is resistant or immune to necrotic, then I think ice overall is a good spell, kind of like elemental choice. Kind of gives off undead ice theme. I'm thinking a little bit of like Warcraft 3, like the Frozen Throne. So undead, ice, they kind of go hand in hand. Plus, I guess Game of Thrones as well with the White Walkers. But those are kind of my two picks there. And then obviously Enhanced Sleep, that's nice. And then Fairy Fire, that's cool too. I don't really use either one of these unless it's very situational. But Ice Knife, just a nice spell to use for damage, and then Longstrider for it just being like a party utility. But that's character creator out of the way. Let's move on to kind of what you're going to be doing Act 1, and you're going to see the whole sheet that I have here, and then we'll kind of like go through it and talk about it. Now for Act 1 here, we're at level 2 there, we're going to be picking Circle of Spores. That's going to be our subclass for our Druid. That's going to give us Symbiotic Entity and Halo of Spores. These two kind of go hand in hand. You want to cast a Symbiotic Entity on yourself first, and that'll double the damage of Halo of Spores. Halo of Spores just does some damage, but again, yeah, with Entity on you, it'll do double damage, and it acts as it says it's a reaction spell, so it kind of functions though like a bonus action in your turn there. So just know that if when you cast like say something like Bone Chill or Ice Knife, you then use Halo of Spores in that same turn, but then I think it messes with your reaction ability if say you have something that needs to proc later on. I don't know, I think we'll mess with that a little bit, but just know you get those two actions very early on. And then yeah, the spell choices I went with there, obviously Bone Chill, this is really nice. This scales up the higher level you go, and this gives you that necrotic damage. And then Ice Knife I go with because Ice Frost, it kind of works with like that Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne, Song of Ice and Fire White Walkers, that undead theme, so I think it fits pretty well. And then moving on to level 3, it's going to be a lot of like pick whatever you want. I just go with Bark Skin because concentrations, we don't really have we have a lot of freedom with them, I would say, until maybe Act 3. Act 3 I would definitely favor Cloud Kill, but we're not there yet. But level 3, I think Bark Skin just helps with our survivability. And then level 4, we have another concentration option I would choose here, which is Hold Person. But feat-wise, we're going to go with Alert. Alert is just really helpful. Gives you that bonus initiative. You can't be surprised. Very helpful in Tactician and Honor mode. And then you can see under level 4 there, I have the Scroll of Shovel and then the Book of Thay. It's a necromancy book. You get this under the Blighted Village. You first of all will come across Shovel's Scroll in one of the coffins. Again, under the Blighted Village. I think it's like a tavern or an inn or something. Anyways, it's all ransacked. But yeah, you just pick him up, you use a scroll, you go through his dialogue, and then he'll be your little minion. So he's this cute little demon guy that'll join your party. I think he fits really well with the theme. But anyways, you'll go through that section there. You go through a mirror, and then through kind of like a trapdoor stuff, and you'll get that book. But you can't unlock that book until you get basically the key for it, which is a gem, which you get from the Broodmother Spider, which is again still in the Blighted Village down the well. Down there you'll find like a spider's lair. She's kind of tough on the higher difficulties. If you don't know what you're doing, I would recommend, if you know what you're doing, you can probably do it level 4 or 3 if you really want to, but if you don't, then I would get to level 5 and then come back for her. The only thing that book is going to get you early on is Speak with Dead, which again just fits with the theme. But then at level 5 we get Animate Undead. We just get to Raise a Corpse, get our first minion there. You can choose between a melee and a range option. Very helpful. They'll get better later on. But level 6 is where we get Fungal Infestation. So that'll give us 4 fungal charges that come back on long rest, and we can summon 4 zombies basically with them. And then these fungal zombies, once they kill somebody, if they get the killing blow, they reanimate whoever they killed as a zombie, and then that zombie will slowly kind of wither away. They'll basically die out of combat, but in combat you can kind of get this spiral effect, this snowball of undead building up. So that's a really fun playstyle. So for Act 1, just overall, you're going to be using Bone Chill or your Ice Knife, and then Halo of Spores. And then once you get the ability to summon minions, you'll control them. They can do a few things. And then Animated Dead, and then Fungal Infestation. It's just your undead army is starting to grow. So we can move on to Act 2. And so in Act 2 here, we're going to be dropping Druid, and we're going to switch over to Wizards. Now Wizards are able to scribe scrolls, so they can take a scroll, they pay a fee, and then they learn that spell there. So this is going to be really handy when you come across really powerful spells like Cloud Kill. And I think Cloud Kill, if you do find one, use it because it is going to synergize with this build really well. But other than that, Mage Hand, just a nice utility. I don't really use it too often. Ray of Frost, we're sticking with that ice theme. Magic Missiles, this is just a force damage, just a nice damage ability there, and it breaks enemy concentration abilities really easily. And then Shield there, so this is going to have a little bit of a tension when you're using Halo Spores, but you can actually use these in the same turn, but then their following turn, you won't get a reaction, so it's a little wonky. I don't know if it works as intended or if it does, I don't know. But then moving on to level 8, we're actually going to pick up our Wizard subclass, which is Necromancer, which we're going to get Grim Harvest with. And Grim Harvest kind of works like a Reaper ability where you kill a target. If you kill them with a necrotic damage, you're gonna get like more life force back. So it's just kind of like a nice little passive, and we're doing a lot of necrotic damage, so obviously it synergizes. And then level 9 there, Mirror Image, just a nice chill ability, just gives you extra survivability. I don't think enough people talk about this one, honestly. But then we got Misty Step there, just great mobility option. And that kind of rounds up Act 2. We're just getting a little bit stronger, nothing major yet. And then really you should be ending Act 2 around level 10. I just put the level 10 part in the Act 3 section because it just helps that sheet look a little bit nicer. So let's move on to Act 3. And then moving on to Act 3 here. So level 10, we're going to get our second feat because Wizard is going to be at level 4. I would go Dual Wielder or Ability Improvement. Dual Wielder, it's going to let you use a staff in your offhand. Staffs are really helpful for spellcasters. They give you a lot of utility. There's a lot of great options out there. And then Ability Improvement there. I would probably put that into Wisdom. It's going to be a little bit more, it's going to help you hit like Halo of Spores. That spell, help that connect. But either one of those are a great choice. Level 11 there, Vampiric Touch. That's just, again, fits into the theme. And then if you find yourself not using Halo of Spores very often, this can be a great counterspell character just because you're not using a lot of big spells, or just like you're not like wasting through a bunch of spells really quickly, because Bone Chill is really good. And again, you have that minion army that's doing a lot of the legwork for you. So I think I put counterspell because this is I think would be a pretty good choice here. But again, pick kind of what you want. I wouldn't say that one's super crucial. Then I have some items under there, or something you get from items. So the Crypt Lord. You get this in Act 3 once you get to Baldur's Gate, and then there's a Carrion Lord that you can kind of run into through a few different quest lines. One's like the Poltergeist, and the other's like the Undead who gets beat up for money. But you kind of like follow that quest line there, and if you work with the Carrion Lord, you can get this ring, and what this ring will do is give you the ability to summon a mummy. And so mummies are just, again, like a stronger minion. You would normally get this if you go further into the necromancy line, but we're not doing that because we're picking druid as well as our multi-class here. And it's just a trade-off essentially. It's like, do you want that mummy, or do you want those 4 fungal zombies plus the Halo of Spores? And I just think the trade-off, I would just rather go with the Circle of Spores. And then the other thing there is the Dance of Macabre. This is what you get at the finale of the Book of Thay, the Necromancy book. So when you go to the Wizard's Tower in the vault, you go through there, and then you will find the way to basically finish reading the book. And then you'll be able to summon 4 ghouls who are AI controlled in combat, which can kind of be nice because then you don't have to like micromanage them at all. And then yes, just more minions for the front line. You can summon these guys back after every long rest. And then at level 12 there, you're going to get better summons and additional undead. So your Animate Undead ability, you'll be able to summon up 2 undead creatures, and then they'll be even stronger. And with these undead, they kind of have a Guild Wars 1 Death Nova effect where they'll explode, and then they explode another one, and kind of like a chain reaction. And we might see that in action. But so we get a lot of nice things here in Act 3 that just kind of like really just flush out how many minions we can have. It gets a little crazy and a little unhinged here, but that's kind of the idea behind a Minion Master. So I think we can move on to the gameplay section now and kind of see how this all works. So here we are in the gameplay section. We're going to be attacking some citizens, but gear-wise, we don't have anything that's important here. The staff you get at the Mage Tower in Act 3, basically going there to that Mage Tower, you get a lot of good like spellcasting gear. So I would definitely hit that up as a priority in Act 3 when you first get into Baldur's Gate. And also you finish off the Book of Thay, the Necromancer book there as well. So if you do have a build like this, that would be like a top priority location I would hit. But for our Necromancer here, for our Lich, we've already cast a Symbiotic Entity on ourselves, so we're good there. So our Halo of Spores here will do double damage. Any other prep wise, we don't really have that much. I mean, Mirror Image, this is an okay one to prep with. I've already gone ahead and cast Longstrider on a lot of these fuckers, so that's already been done. We did pick up Haste as one of our spells that I didn't list. It's not necessary. We're not going to use it, but it's there if we want to use it as a concentration. Another reason why we picked up this, why I'm using the staff here, is to give myself Cloud Kill over here. I don't have a scroll at the moment to scribe and get that ability with, or that spell with, so I'm just going to use it with the staff there. But let's get into the gameplay section. We're actually going to have our good old, I think he's a paladin. Yeah, he's a paladin right now. Start the fight here. And this is basically just going to be in the middle of town, and we're just going to see how much trouble we can we can cause. Yeah, and we're just going to see how much trouble we can cause. Now, there's only one guard here right now. More will come. Yeah, they are. Ooh, got a little bit of a light cleric with this guy too. Cool. Anyways, you're not part of the build. And then, okay, so our Lich here. So we can go ahead and we want to keep them kind of back. They are a spellcaster after all. So we're going to try to use Halo of Spores here. We're going to be a little bit closer. It doesn't have the greatest chance of hitting, but when it does, again, you're getting that double damage, and it's almost like casting a spell with your bonus action. So that's really helpful. And again, it doesn't use up a spell slot either. I don't know if I mentioned that. So again, it's just a nice additional attack. And then we're just using our cantrip here. Again, we're not using any spells. And so now the undead horde, they're gonna start running in there. Now these guys do have, so if you play Guild Wars 1, they have essentially like Death Nova, where when they die, they'll explode, and then it kind of can cause a chain reaction. So it's kind of funny, and you know, it's something that'll definitely, if you have all your guys grouped up, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of prep you can do as far as placement with the undead horde here, but you can just make sure that your Lich there is the one who is coming into the fight as opposed to being in the middle. I don't think it's a really good idea to have your Minion Master guy here in the middle of the combat, just because of, like I said, how the Death Nova wave can essentially wipe out all your minions together. It's just a giant explosion of necrotic damage. Unless you want that, so that's entirely up to you. But we're going to try to get our guys in there and to get some damage done. So we're going to use our reaction here. So we can use our reaction on top of Halo of Spores, as you can see there. It says you can't, I'm pretty sure. I'll double check that. Because there are some things in this game where it's like, you shouldn't be able to do it, but it lets you do it, so that could be one of those things. And why we brought the other guy here, well, the Kahir, that's my Tav. He's the face of the party, so he's kind of got to be here anyways. And this is not a solo build, so you're going to have party members here too. And poor melee characters, man, if they have to fight this many minions, like a fighter, you're kind of going to be in trouble because you're very limited on your AoE capabilities. But now let's just keep getting our zombies up there. Essentially want these guys to get close and then try to get them to be the ones who have like basically the finishing blow, so you can kind of start a chain reaction of a zombie army essentially. It'll be temporary for the fight, but you know, it's fun to just kind of see the numbers shift one way. Oh, it did cost us our reaction. That's weird. So it lets you do your Halo Spores first, and then during that turn you can have a reaction, but then the next turn you won't. Okay, got it. So that's how that works. So these guys are actually in pretty good position to now cast Cloud Kill, and you'll see that, yeah, it looks like we're going to hit some of our guys, but if you actually look at our zombies here, they are poison immune. So Cloud Kill just does a 5d8 for poison damage, so they'll be fine. So we can go ahead and cast it. And so Cloud Kill, it is a concentration, so that's why I'm not using Haste or Bark Skin, because I think Cloud Kill is more appropriate for this build. Obviously, there are a lot of things that are either immune or resistant to poison, so you gotta kind of keep an eye out for that. But yeah, now we just need to keep them safe and basically out of harm's way. Our undead horde's gonna go. I kind of wish there was an AI option to have all of your zombies basically be controlled like the Macabre ghouls. Just like cut down on the micromanaging that you have to do essentially. Again, just as an option. Now something that'd be really nuts if would be if you had a necromancer a higher up level would let you have all your undead minions get an extra attack. Oof, that would be nasty. But they don't, because it'd be probably very overpowered. Again, they're all immune to poison damage. Boom, there's that Death Nova I was talking about. Oof. Yeah, I mean, that's the fight right there. They just ended it all. That's really funny. So that's okay though, because like I said earlier, your undead minions there, they are expendable. You know, they're not gonna, they don't really care. Oh, it looks like this guy wants to fight too because we Death Nova'd, or he's just very upset. But yeah, like I said earlier, your army's very expendable, and after fight, you're gonna be spending some time just raising back the undead. This guy keeps running into my Cloud Kill. But I think we've terrorized the people of Baldur's Gate already enough. So let's get out of here. Let's head back to camp. It's just my chair. It doesn't roll. It doesn't roll far enough. Oh look, we're back at camp. Wow, look at those two, still going at it. They don't ever stop. Pets, am I right? Anyways, if you guys made it this far in the video, thank you very much. If you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, consider it if you like builds like this. And yeah, this setup here, I don't know, we're just kind of experimenting. Obviously, I need to tweak some things, but yeah, we're just cruising along. So hope you guys have a great holiday. As far as the October Halloween season, it's kind of appropriate for this build. And yeah, take care, and I'll see you next time. Peace. I'm gonna take the mic with me.